All right, everyone, welcome back to Sip and Talk.
Ah, yes.
Grab your drink,
Yeah.
get comfy, and let's dive into something fascinating together.
Okay, I'm ready.
Today, we're talking about a war that's happening right now, but not with like tanks and missiles,
Right.
It's a war fought in the shadows, a war of whispers and manipulation.
Interesting.
We're talking about China's unspoken war on Taiwan.
Okay, so what's fascinating here is how this war is being waged with everything except a full-blown military invasion.
Yeah.
It's this mix of pressure tactics, economic maneuvering, and even a bit of digital trickery.
Yeah, like imagine your internet going out because someone snipped an undersea cable.
Oh, wow.
Or your favorite influencer suddenly starts singing China's praises.
Oh, gosh.
It's like something out of a spy movie.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's this blend of real-world disruption and information warfare that makes it so unsettling.
Yeah.
And frankly, effective.
So, okay, let's back up a bit. Why is China playing this game with Taiwan in the first place? What's the motivation behind this whole unspoken war thing?
Well, to understand that, you have to look at the geography.
Okay.
Picture a chain of islands stretching from Japan down to Indonesia.
Okay.
That's what's called the first island chain. And it's basically a strategic choke point for China.
Ah, the first island chain.
Yeah.
I've heard that term thrown around, but never really grasped
Right.
why it's such a big deal.
It's like, imagine you're throwing a house party,
Okay.
and the only way your guests can get in is through a narrow alleyway. That alleyway is the first island chain.
Yeah.
And China feels trapped by it.
Interesting.
They want to be a global superpower.
Yeah.
But this chain with the strong U.S. presence is kind of boxing them in.
So they see Taiwan as the key to breaking free of that alleyway.
Precisely.
Okay.
Taiwan sits right in the middle of that chain.
Yeah.
And from China's perspective, it's a breakaway province that needs to be reunited with the mainland. They see it as unfinished business,
Right.
a matter of national pride and historical destiny.
Well, the Taiwan sees things very differently.
Right. Exactly.
They've got their own thriving democracy, their own identity. They're not just going to roll over and say, okay, China, you win.
Right. And that's the core of the conflict. You've got this clash of ideologies, a battle for influence and control, all playing out in the shadows.
Okay, so this unspoken war
Yeah.
isn't just some abstract geopolitical game.
No.
It's actually affecting people's lives in very real ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine living with the constant threat of military action looming overhead.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that your country is being targeted with propaganda and economic pressure.
Oh.
It creates a climate of fear and uncertainty that's hard to shake.
Yeah, it's like trying to live a normal life with this dark cloud hanging over you.
Yeah.
But how exactly is China waging this shadow war?
Okay.
What are the weapons in their arsenal?
Well, one of the most unsettling tactics is this thing called gray zone warfare.
Huh?
It's basically a way of pushing the boundaries of conflict without triggering an all-out war. It's all about creating chaos and disruption just below the threshold of a traditional military response.
So it's like playing a game of chicken,
Yeah.
but with a whole nation's fate hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
Give us some concrete examples. What does this gray zone stuff actually look like?
Well, remember those undersea cables we talked about? The ones that carry internet traffic and communication?
Right.
Well, there have been several incidents where these cables near Taiwan have been mysteriously cut.
Wait, seriously, like someone just goes down there and snips them?
It's not that simple, but you get the idea.
Wow.
And while it's hard to pinpoint exactly who's responsible,
Right.
there's strong suspicion that China is involved. It's a way to disrupt Taiwan's communications, sow chaos, and test their defenses without resorting to a full-blown attack.
That's messed up. It's like cutting off someone's phone line in the middle of an important conversation. But wouldn't that also hurt China?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they rely on those cables too, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
But the point is to demonstrate their ability to disrupt things,
Okay.
to create a sense of vulnerability.
Okay.
It's like a subtle reminder. We can make things difficult for you if we want to.
Okay, that's definitely sending a message.
Yeah.
But it seems more like an annoyance than a full-on attack.
That's the nature of gray zone warfare. It's designed to be ambiguous,
Right.
to keep everyone guessing.
Yeah.
But it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
China's also using its military might to create pressure and intimidation.
Okay.
They've been sending warships and fighter jets into Taiwan's air defense zone almost daily, buzzing around like an angry hornet's nest.
Ugh. That's got to be stressful.
Yeah.
It's like someone constantly tailgating you on the highway.
Yeah.
You never know if they're just being a jerk or if they actually going to ram you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about creating psychological pressure, wearing down Taiwan's defenses and morale.
Right.
It's a way of saying, we're here, we're powerful, and we're not going away.
So it's a mix of subtle disruption and in-your-face intimidation.
Right.
But is it working? Is Taiwan actually feeling the heat from all this?
Well, the unspoken war is definitely having an impact.
Okay.
It's created a sense of unease and vulnerability within Taiwan, and it's forced them to spend more on defense and constantly be on guard.
So they're living in a state of perpetual anxiety, never knowing what's coming next.
Yeah.
That sounds exhausting.
It is, and that's part of the strategy.
Right.
China wants to make Taiwan feel isolated, vulnerable, and ultimately dependent on them for their security.
Okay.
It's a long game, but it's one they're playing very deliberately.
Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of just how complex and multi-layered this whole unspoken war is.
Yeah.
But we've only scratched the surface, right?
Right.
I have a feeling there's a whole other dimension to this. Something even more insidious than warships and cable cutting.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched upon the information war that China is waging.
Ooh.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Social media manipulation,
Oh, yeah.
fake news campaigns, and even attempts to influence Taiwanese pop culture.
Oh, now we're talking. That's the kind of stuff that really gets into your skin. You know? Like you think you're just scrolling through your feed, catching up on the latest gossip.
Yeah.
But you're actually being targeted with propaganda.
Exactly. And it's not always as blatant as you might think. It's often subtle, insidious, designed to shape your perceptions and influence your opinions without you even realizing it.
Okay, now I'm officially creeped out.
Oh.
So China is basically trying to hack people's minds, not just their computer networks.
Yeah.
Give us some examples. How are they doing this in practice?
Well, for starters, they've been recruiting Taiwanese influencers to spread pro-China messages.
Whoa. Yeah. So they're co-opting people with large followings, especially young people, to push their narrative.
Yeah.
That's sneaky.
It is, and it's becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Okay.
They're also creating fake news videos and articles designed to sow discord and undermine trust in Taiwan's government.
Wait, fake videos? Like those deep fakes where you can make anyone say anything?
Yeah.
That's scary stuff.
It is, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish what's real and what's not.
Right.
The goal is to create confusion,
Right.
erode trust in institutions, and ultimately make people question their own reality.
Man, this is like something out of the Matrix. So they're messing with people's minds, disrupting their internet and buzzing them with fighter jets.
Yeah.
It's like a three-pronged attack.
And we haven't even talked about their economic pressure tactics.
Okay, hold on. My head is spinning. We've got warships, internet shenanigans, mind games, and now economic warfare.
Yep.
This unspoken war is getting more intense by the minute.
It is, and that's what makes it so challenging. Right. It's not a war fought on a traditional battlefield, but on multiple fronts with constantly shifting tactics.
All right, listeners, grab another drink. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
We'll be right back to unpack the economic side of this unspoken war
Very.
and explore why this matters to all of us, even if we're not living in Taiwan.
Sounds good. So, we talked about the military posturing and the information warfare.
Right.
But China's unspoken war also has a sharp economic edge to it.
Right, because money talks.
Yeah.
Or in this case, maybe it shouts.
It can shout.
How does China use its economic clout to pressure Taiwan?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
Taiwan and China are deeply intertwined economically. They trade a ton.
Right.
And that gives China a lot of leverage.
Okay.
It's like if your roommate controlled the thermostat
Yeah.
and owned the only pizza place in town,
Okay.
you'd probably think twice before picking a fight.
Uh-huh. That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
So China can basically turn the economic screws whenever they feel like it.
Pretty much.
What does that actually look like?
Well, remember those delicious Taiwanese pineapples everyone loves?
Oh, yeah. They're the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, China suddenly banned imports of them, citing pest concerns.
Oh, come on.
But many saw it as a clear political move, a way to hurt Taiwanese farmers and send a message.
Wow. So even pineapples are pawns in this game.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But is it effective? Does that kind of economic pressure really move the needle?
It definitely creates uncertainty and instability.
Right.
Taiwan relies heavily on trade with China.
Right.
And knowing that access can be cut off at any moment adds a layer of stress to the whole situation.
So it's not just about the immediate economic hit.
Right.
It's about sowing doubt and eroding confidence in Taiwan's long-term prospects.
Exactly. It's like a constant low-grade fever, making it harder for Taiwan to thrive and plan for the future.
Okay, so we've got military intimidation, information manipulation, and economic pressure. It's like a three-headed hydra. Yeah. But what's the end goal here? What's China's end game with Taiwan?
Ultimately, China sees reunification with Taiwan as a core national interest.
Okay.
They view it as a historical inevitability, a matter of completing their national destiny.
But how do they actually plan to pull that off?
Yeah.
I mean, a full-blown invasion seems incredibly risky.
It is, and that's where the unspoken war comes in.
Okay.
By using a combination of pressure tactics and wearing down Taiwan's resistance, they're hoping to make reunification the path of least resistance.
Okay.
It's like they're trying to slowly turn the knob on the pressure cooker, hoping Taiwan eventually gives in before things boil over.
That's a pretty intense metaphor.
It is a bit dramatic.
But wouldn't a move like that trigger a huge international backlash?
It probably would.
I mean, the U.S. has long supported Taiwan.
Yeah.
And I doubt they'd just stand by and watch.
You're right. The U.S. factor is a major wild card here.
Yeah.
The U.S. has a policy of strategic ambiguity when it comes to Taiwan, meaning they haven't explicitly said whether they'd intervene militarily if China attacked.
So it's like a poker game.
Yeah.
Everyone trying to read each other's bluffs.
Exactly.
Right.
And that uncertainty is part of what makes this situation so tense and unpredictable.
Okay. So we've got China playing the long game, the U.S. trying to maintain a balance of power, and Taiwan caught in the middle.
Right in the middle.
But why should all of this matter to us?
Yeah.
To people sitting here listening to this podcast?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, it's happening on the other side of the world, right?
It might seem far away, but this conflict has global implications.
Okay.
For starters, Taiwan is a major player in the global tech industry.
Oh, yeah.
They're the world leader in semiconductor manufacturing.
Right.
And those tiny chips power everything from our smartphones to our cars.
Right. I've heard about that. It's like they're the silicon heart of the digital world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So any disruption to Taiwan's stability would send shockwaves through the global economy.
Right.
We'd be talking about supply chain chaos, price hikes, maybe even a global recession.
Wow. So this isn't just some abstract geopolitical squabble.
Yeah.
It could actually hit us right in the wallet.
It definitely could. And that's why it's so important to understand what's happening in Taiwan.
Yeah.
This unspoken war is a reminder that even conflicts happening thousands of miles away can have a ripple effect on our lives.
Okay, that's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
But it's not just about economics, right?
Right.
There's a bigger principle at stake here.
Yeah.
Something about democracy and freedom versus authoritarianism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Taiwan is a beacon of democracy in a region increasingly dominated by authoritarianism.
Right.
Their success shows that democracy can flourish even in the face of enormous pressure.
Yeah.
And their struggle is a reminder that the values we hold dear are not guaranteed.
Right.
They have to be fought for and defended.
Wow. You're right. It's like David and Goliath, but on a global scale. So what does all of this mean for the future? Is this unspoken war just going to simmer indefinitely, or is there a risk of things boiling over?
That's the million-dollar question, and unfortunately, there are no easy answers.
Yeah.
But what's clear is that the world is watching the situation very closely.
Yeah.
The stakes are incredibly high, and the potential consequences of miscalculation are terrifying.
Okay, so we're talking about a potential global economic meltdown.
Yeah.
A clash of ideologies, and the possibility of a major military conflict.
All on the table.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, it is.
But I feel like we're missing one crucial piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
What's life actually like for people in Taiwan right now? How are they coping with this constant pressure and uncertainty?
That's a great question, and it's one we need to explore in more depth.
Yeah.
Because this unspoken war isn't just about abstract geopolitical maneuvering.
Right.
It's about real people living their lives trying to make sense of a world that feels increasingly unpredictable and dangerous.
All right, listeners, let's take a moment to refill our glasses and catch our breath.
Okay, take your time.
When we come back, we'll delve into the human side of this conflict and explore how the unspoken war is shaping the lives of everyday people in Taiwan. Okay, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into this unspoken war.
Yeah, it's been a heavy one.
We've covered so much ground already.
We have.
The military stuff, the economic pressure, the whole information war.
It's a lot.
It really makes you think.
Yeah, it does.
But something we need to remember.
Yeah.
This isn't just some theoretical game. There are real people living through this.
Absolutely. This isn't just about geopolitical maneuvering. It's about real people's lives.
Exactly. So what is it like actually living in Taiwan right now?
Yeah.
With this constant threat looming overhead?
Well, just imagine it.
Yeah.
Waking up every morning and knowing fighter jets could be buzzing around. Your internet might cut out because someone messed with an undersea cable. Even the news you read online could be full of propaganda.
Yeah, it's going to be unsettling.
It creates this constant anxiety.
Right.
You're always on edge.
Like trying to build a house of cards in a windstorm.
Exactly.
You never know when it's all going to come crashing down.
And then you add in the constant misinformation.
Oh, yeah, the propaganda.
It makes you doubt everything.
Who can you trust?
Exactly. It divides people.
So this isn't just about bombs and bullets. It's about undermining their whole way of life.
It really is.
Making them question their own reality.
Yeah, it's a psychological battle as much as anything else.
But are the Taiwanese people just giving up?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
They're incredibly resilient.
That's good to hear.
They're not just passively accepting this.
So how are they fighting back?
Well, for one thing, they have a really vibrant civil society.
Okay.
People are organizing groups.
Mm-hmm.
They're working to counter the disinformation.
Okay.
They teach media literacy.
Right, so people could spot the fakes.
Exactly. They hold forums. They create content. They even use humor and satire.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a way to expose the propaganda without being too heavy-handed.
So it's like a grassroots movement.
It really is people fighting back with information.
That's amazing.
They realize this is a different kind of battlefield.
Yeah, it's not your grandfather's war.
And the government is stepping up, too.
Oh, okay, how so?
They're investing in cybersecurity.
Makes sense.
Boosting their defenses.
Right, they can't just sit back and wait.
And they're strengthening ties with their allies.
It's like a 21st century David and Goliath.
I like that analogy.
Right, but the slingshot is made of data, and the stones are made of information.
Exactly. It's a whole new kind of warfare.
And the outcome is still uncertain.
Definitely.
But the whole world is watching.
Because the stakes are so high.
Not just for Taiwan,
right?
But for democracy itself.
It's a fight for freedom.
Absolutely. So what can we do sitting here, to help?
The most important thing is to stay informed.
Okay, knowledge is power, right?
Exactly. The more you understand, the less likely you are to be fooled by propaganda.
Makes sense. We can't just bury our heads in the sand.
And you can support organizations working in Taiwan.
Okay. Are there specific groups you recommend?
We can link some in the show notes.
Great. And we can talk about it, share what we're learning.
Exactly. Raising awareness is crucial.
It feels like this unspoken war could be a sign of things to come.
It could be a new normal.
And we all need to be ready.
Absolutely. Being informed and engaged is more important now than ever.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
It's a heavy topic.
It is.
But also really inspiring to see how the Taiwanese people are responding.
Their resilience is remarkable.
So let's raise a glass to Taiwan.
Cheers to Taiwan.
May their courage and determination inspire us all.
To stand up for what's right.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think we all need a little something to unwind.
I agree. A little something to take the edge off.
So why not check out our friend Micky over at Mickeytolife?
I love that channel.
He's got amazing travel adventures, whiskey reviews, all kinds of fun stuff.
It's a great way to relax after a heavy topic like this.
And that's it for this episode, folks. Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep sipping and talking.
Cheers to that.